Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 9. So, though we don't know, like a ridiculous amount of information and, just news and stuff, and just the general goings-on of this final season of The Flash, it is important to remember that they are only, 4 or 5 episodes into filming roughly, which is close to the halfway point of the shortened 13 episode final season, but we usually do get most of the information coming out when we get close to the actual episodes airing. And of course, in regards to the set photo side of things, which is where we've gotten most of the current information about season 9, that of course, relies on, well, them actually filming in public and people actually taking photos. But one character and just general thing that will be going on in season 9 that we know of is Red Death. And leading up to all of this, we also had the reveal that at least in episode 1, but maybe even other episodes to follow, that would involve a new iteration of Captain Boomerang, this being the Owen Mercer version, which had been rumored to, be coming into the show a couple of seasons ago, but I guess as they say, better late than never. But the question is all of this somewhat connected? And is there a storyline here for the first half of this final season, which then maybe leads into something else in the back half? Whether it all connects would of course be another question in itself. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Maybe there's the slightest thread that connects it, but maybe it does set up something. And in regards to whether all these villains we have seen show up are connected, well, that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts, theories and predictions if you want to include them as well. Very curious to hear what you guys have to say. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show your support, you're looking forward to this potentially happening, why not drop a like on the video to show your support and excitement? So one of the villains or groups of villains that has been requested to show up in a larger manner, for a while on the show is of course that of the Rogues. Now we have had some smaller takes on them, whether it be the actual group size, the numbers there, or just their screen time. I think in season 1 towards the end, we had some sort of iteration of it. And I think it was season 5. I think it was when Nora, the old Nora was there, but nothing that lives up to their frequency and I guess mainly influence in the comics. Now, it has been years, almost 10 years, I guess, since some or most of these, rogues originally showed up, or at least the ones that would, classically make up the rogues grouping in the comics. But what could we see if there is some sort of, makeup of the rogues in this ninth and final season of The Flash? And what would be their motivation for coming together and teaming up be? What's there? Well, for this discussion, at least the person controlling it, it could be manipulation from one main villain behind the rogues. But who could be the main villain behind all of this and, potentially manipulating these other villains that could be part of this rogue group as well? Well, it could be a variety of potential villains, but if I put myself in Eric Wallace, the showrunner, if I put myself in his boots and just sort of tap into what I think he would be thinking, it would be Zoom. But how would it work and how would Zoom be able to convince these potential various villains to team up and take aim at the Flash? Well, it does appear that Red Death will be from elsewhere in the multiverse this season. So that would be the answer, the multiverse. That's where he's picking and choosing from. And this doesn't mean that every single individual that is a part of this hypothetical rogues lineup is from elsewhere within the multiverse, but some are, which allows Zoom to let this play out. Because if you picked everyone from Earth Prime, I don't know if it would work out that well, because the Flash is sort of come good with some of the people there that would make up the Rogues group. It just wouldn't work. I think if everyone was from Earth Prime, they'd be talking and convincing people that Zoom's not really the person to, believe in this situation. So I think it'd have to stretch out into the multiverse. And of course, the motive for Zoom in regards to why he's doing this would be easy. I mean, take down the Flash. You don't really have to think about that too much. But where would the rest of this, potential rogues team be from specifically? And could there be motivations for some of them outside of what Zoom basically offers them? Well, if we include Captain Boomerang in this, we know he is first showing up in episode 1 of season 9. And apparently, according to his character description, he is recently released from Iron Heights, which then eventually leads to him taking on the Flash, as we saw in some said photos. So this would mean that he's from Earth Prime most likely. And that could literally be his motivation after that. He is taken down by the Flash in that episode, not too happy. That's an easy one, wants to get revenge, and Zoom's perfect. The perfect person to come and join my team to take on the Flash. He hates him as well. Awesome. And of course, we don't know if Owen Mercer is going to be the son of Digger Harkness, who was killed by, on the island of Lian Maybe thinks that maybe the Flash did it, maybe thinks that Oliver Queen did it, but hates heroes in general, so maybe he takes that anger out on the Flash if he is Digger Harkness' son like he is in the comics. And then of course we have Red Death just in itself, But we also know that in that same episode that Rainbow Raider is showing up, though it is unclear whether it's the Earth Prime version of the character or maybe the version from Red Death's Earth, they are multiversal, or just somewhere else in the multiverse. But then again, this could be the first example of some rogues teaming up for us to see. This could be Red Death from Earth whatever it might be that she's from, and then Rainbow Raider from Earth Prime, or just another Earth in the multiverse, just not from the same one as Red Death. The last reference to this version of Rainbow Raider, if it is the Earth Prime one, was that he was imprisoned within the CCPD, but then disappeared. I think it was Kristen Kramer that said this. So maybe his whereabouts is explained if this is the Earth Prime version, or if it is a multiversal version, this disappearance and not knowing where the person is, that gives, this version like the free reign to do some stuff without running into a doppelganger and all that awkward stuff that could potentially happen when you travel the multiverse. But those are really the only characters we have seen so far. So who else could play a part in this? Well, we know thanks to quotes from Candice Patton and Jesse or Martin, who play Iris and Joe, respectively, and maybe someone else said it, maybe Eric Wallace said it as well. But there will be a bunch of familiar faces from the past seasons that will be showing up in this final season. Even though it's only 13 episodes, they are still going to make it pretty, fan favorite and fan servicey at the same time. So this could easily be villains as well. It's not just, friendly faces and heroes and stuff and people that were, previously on Team Flash. It's also the villain side. I mean, we have an example already with Rainbow Raider, but are there any other likely options? Well, it's hard to be sure as there hasn't been too many rumors and all that flying around, but we know that the return of Bloodwork was teased in that Earth Prime comic series for this season. However, then there was a scene from the season 8 which tied into that directly and set up characters for that stuff that was in the comic book, but that was deleted from episode 15, I think it was, from season 8. So that makes you really question whether anything in regards to that will be followed up in season 9. So that would mean no Bloodwork potentially, who could have easily folded into this rogue story as well and has a decent reason to get back at the Flash. But that's all we really have in regards to stuff that's been presented to us in some way that we can try and connect to this. But who are some other villains that could show up against Barry in this villainous team up that you could, all make from the multiverse? So maybe that they absolutely hate and despise and just want to kill the Flash on their Earth, which would, play into what Zoom wants to achieve. It'd be harder if, pretty much with all of these, it'd be hard to sort of swindle the person if it's their Earth Prime version. But if they're multiversal, we get a familiar face that we love in that role, but is also probably the most villainous version of the character. And maybe that's what Zoom tries to do, hypothetically, goes through all the different Earths and tries to find the most evil version of a certain character. I mean, that'd be pretty cool, and it'd be extremely fun, I guess, for the actors to play that. So the first one I have is Top, and the reason I have that is that Eric Wallace has brought back Top so consistently since he took over from the show. So just a character I could see them using. Now, obviously, the Earth Prime version is sort of was technically a part of Team Flash, I guess, technically, last season. So that'd be weird if she just randomly turned. So maybe a multiversal version with maybe more comic accurate powers with the spinning and all that would be pretty cool. Weather Wizard or Witch. I put or Witch because they might want to use the Weather Witch, version of the character, whether it's the Earth Prime version or a multiversal version. But Weather Wizard, I think most people would want. I think that'd be more of a fan favorite thing to go with. So Weather Wizard, Captain Cold and Heatwave. I think if you bring back Captain Cold, you probably bring back Heatwave as well. The issue with this is I don't know if either of the actors would want to come back. Maybe Wentworth Miller would be more open to it. I'm not too sure about Dominic Purcell. But then again, maybe he misses playing Mick Rory and getting to play like a super evil version. I know that he didn't really like what they did with Legends with the character. So maybe if the final season, the Flash goes back to Heatwave being a full-on villain, being a bit crazy and loopy, then he would come back and play the character. That's what I could see. And even Captain Cold, you could even do some wickedly evil version as well. I'm sure Wentworth Miller would be able to pull it off pretty well. The next one, the Trickster. And this is only if it's the Mark Hamill version. No offense to the guy that plays the younger version. I don't mind that. Can't remember the actual name. I know this one's James Jesse or Jesse James, whichever it is, the Mark Hamill version. But it has to be Mark Hamill if you bring back the Trickster. It's been a bit of a disappointing thing that I think season 3, where he played the Earth 3 version, was the last time we saw him. I don't know if he showed up after that. And that was a really quick cameo sort of thing. So I'd love it if they were able to sort that out to get a multiversal super evil version of the Trickster. That'd be awesome. And the final one I think would be a bit fun. Once again, don't know how easy it would be to make it happen, but also fulfill something that didn't really get to play out properly back in, funnily enough, season 3 as well. And that's Dr. Alchemy but like an actual proper evil comic book version played by Tom Felton. I think that'd be cool. I think it'd be really, really cool to tap into that. I think that's always been the issue when they sort of moved away from the multiverse following Crisis, is that you couldn't do fun, crazy stuff like that, which had been so, consistent in the earlier or just pre-Crisis on Flash. So when it was gone, you couldn't do it. So having it come into the final season and them getting to play around with that, I think would almost be like a breath of fresh air, even though it is the final season. So I'd love to see it like with these characters and just multiversal versions of these villains dialed up to 11, and with the original actors coming back to play it, even if it's only just for one episode each. I think that would be awesome. And I'd love to see it. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and show support. Do you have any other villain suggestions? Multiverse, bring them with the original character that I forgot to mention. I'm sure I have, because I only wrote down a few. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below and who you'd want the most. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. And goodbye.